Hello, and welcome to the Underhive. Thank you for rejoining me here with our man Titus, and we're going to be continuing with Space Marine Hard Mode with Part 3, the weapon.
Pilots, this is Lieutenant.
Yeah, I'll show you a weapon, Ducky Bob.
Look sharp, all cries inbound.
Captain Titus, I need a gunner to man the heavy bolter.
Well, I am your man.
Here they come, starboard side.
Stones on these fellas, flying around with homebrew jetpacks. Don't think we'll be able to take them out.
Speed. I will shoot them off.
Come on, armour. Work your magic. There we go.
Stormboy's going for round 3 and 6. Keep us in position,
This can't be doing them any good, me shooting at them with a heavy bolter. That is not what we want.
Shoot those zombies! Kill him!
Oh, he's decided to rip it off. Oh, right, okay. That'll be why. He is taking a right pasting.
It's breaking into the cockpit.
Oh, what have you done that for, Titus? It's not like you've got a warp flask on your back. Obviously not phased. Now, why exactly have I got a chainsword? Because I had a power axe.
Come in, Lieutenant.
Why has it took that off me?
32 is down. I require immediate transport.
Get him taken out before we have to worry about anybody else. They'll be cutting nothing. Especially not him. You were a read tank him. I knew they were sneaking up on me there, but I wanted to make sure we got that sorted. It's not a stick bomb, it's never been a stick bomb, and a plasma pistol shouldn't in any way be like a stick bomb. So there was a question asked, why is it the Ultramarines? So I feel like there's probably a few reasons to that. So first and foremost, I feel it was a developer decision because they probably aren't fans. Sadly, Warhammer games are generally not made by fans. They're generally made by the lowest bidder, and that is a sad fact. because GW do like to keep hold of their IP. They do like to keep hold of the profits. So, and you know, can't fault them for that. Share price wise, they're doing pretty well as it stands. So, you know, it makes sense that they would stick to those behavior patterns. But I feel like it was probably the easiest thing for the developer to pick, and so they just went with Captain Vanilla. So that, I think, is the main reason. But in terms of the lore, it's very likely that the argument would be that the Ultramarines were the closest strike cruiser to the action, and they presumably weren't even the full Ultramarines chapter. They were probably, you know, just one company, or maybe just even one, you know, set of maybe 5 squads. So we're talking 25 to 50 Marines. Well, 5 squads would be 25 in theory. You know, so maybe 5 to 10 squads, or perhaps even a full company, which would be 100 Marines. So that'd be 20 squads. So their strike cruiser might have been the closest. So that could have been the reason why. But further to that, I mean, I don't think that should be the case, because
What is the Inquisitor's status?
it says this was in the Gothic sector, and that isn't particularly near Ultramar. So it's not like they were on home soil or anything. It's not like they had any right to be the closest. And I feel like the Gothic sector is the Nova Marines. They are referred to in the Eisenhorn books quite a lot, the Nova Marines. So I think maybe that's why.
Where is it?
Because the Nova Marines are an Ultramarine successor chapter, and it's probably just easier and more brandable for them to use the successor chapter of the Ultramarines, as opposed to try and explain why the Nova Marines are essentially Ultramarines with a slight bit of background difference. So there's that. And then thirdly, the Ultramarines have not the only chapter or legion to have a history of fighting orcs, but the Ultramarines certainly do have several books about the orcs, and I just feel like it was probably easiest for them to sort of write the material for it, with it being Ultramarines. Now I'm going to lay off that while I kill these Rocketeers with knee shots. Yeah, go on, tee me up, boy. Nice one, Andros. I'm aware it's Leandros, but I prefer just Andros. And we're on first name terms at this stage. I can call him Andros. He's all right with it. I mean, what were you expecting, Sergeant? There's gonna be more. There's always more. We've discussed this in the previous video. There is always more. And a further question I got asked, actually, well, I got asked this personally. I don't think it's actually a comment on the video at this stage. What would be the situation then if this sort of thing was to occur, whatever reason there was orcs on the planet? What would you actually do to get rid of them? And it sort of came along with, it's a shame there's no sort of spores here that you're supposed to dispose of in some way. Now the spores I'm on about, they're, like a mushroom fungal spore. You wouldn't see it with a naked eye. Now a marine in theory might be able to, but you wouldn't see a spore with the naked eye. They're molecular. So it's not so much that you would like break them or damage them in some way and they're no longer working. The pods that the orcs grow from on the sort of vegetation part of the life cycle of the orc spore, that you could destroy, but you're only spreading more spores. It's not, if you just stamped on it, you're not actually getting rid of it long term. You might stop that orc from maturing and being, born, if you will, but it's not actually going to get rid of the problem. There is only one way to get rid of the problem, and the introduction to this game is the first option it gives, and that is Exterminatus. Exterminatus takes many forms, but generally it involves orbital bombardment, capital class ship, and either viral bombs. So you've got the like the Life Eater. Now, because of its use in the Heresy, the Imperium does not like to use the Life Eater, but still will if it comes to it. And you've also got things like cyclonic torpedoes, which will create just massive seismic problems for the planet. A cyclonic torpedo leaves no planet behind. It will fracture a planet in many cases. So that isn't an option when we're talking about a Forge world, because the resources that go in to producing a Titan, like a whole planet somewhere else in the Imperium, gives every produced resource, every single thing it produces, it would give that up for centuries to produce a Titan elsewhere in the Imperium. That is how costly producing a Titan is. So they won't get rid of this planet willy-nilly on the grounds there is one Titan on it. Now I'm talking, oh bloody hell, that's extreme, innit? Them rockets. One Warlord Titan or Imperator class Titan, yes. If it was a Warhound, still incredibly valuable, but perhaps not worth risking the Orcs getting away from here. They would more than likely be willing to do it if it was just a couple of Warhound Titans. It's a shame. The Mechanicus wouldn't be happy with it, but it's one of those things. I think that's acceptable, but not a Warlord Titan. The machine spirit within that Warlord Titan is not a million miles away to the machine spirit in a spaceship, starship rather. So the Mechanicus would not be giving that up. Like if the Astartes were like, yeah, we're exterminate us in this planet, that's it, it's done. The Mechanicus would have a real schism about that. Like it's no joke to destroy a machine spirit like that. It's a big deal to them. So that would never be a suggestion because of how fragile the sovereignty of the Mechanicus is in relation to the Imperium. Because even though the Mechanicus are loyalist, if you will, they aren't wholeheartedly in the same bucket. You know, you've got the heretics that join Horus, and the many that will have come after that. But of those that are loyal to Terra, supposedly, there are still many that don't believe the Emperor is truly the Omnisire or an aspect of him. Some merely accept that as a means to be able to continue to carry on with the work that they hold in higher value than expressing their actual views. Essentially, the Emperor turned up and dominated them. There were many at the time in the, talking probably late 20th millennium, when the Emperor, maybe earlier 20th actually, when the Emperor finished the Unification Wars and then unified with Mars, and I don't think you can really call it unified with Luna. He dominated Luna, the moon. But yeah, unified with Mars, he left them with their own sovereignty, but many of them there did not agree with that, and that is what Horus played on as far as the heresy and creating a schism with... Not sure I wanted that. Creating a schism with the Mechanicus, between the Dark Mechanicum and what later went on to be the Adeptus Mechanicus. I'm going to take this knob out before we do anything else. He's probably going to recover. No, he didn't. Absolutely punched his mush off. Don't want to be on the receiving end of one of these though, do you? So, back to the original point. There isn't really any way to get rid of the orcs without also destroying everything that you would have otherwise fought for on the planet. It is nigh on impossible because they are just so hardy. Their race is designed for its hardiness. And I say designed because they were created by the old ones, as humans may well have been in the lore. I'm not 100% on that, but certainly the Eldar and the Orcs, originally called the Krork, were created by the Old Ones as a race to fight the Catan. I'm not going to get into what Catan are on this episode, but they are godlike beings and they posed a significant threat to the Old Ones. Enough of a threat that they created the Orcs and the Eldar as their weapon against the Catan. Didn't really turn out that way for them. No Old Ones left. There are Catan left, so it's up to you as to who won that battle, but many of the Catan are imprisoned and otherwise not in charge of their own destiny, so it's fair to say they might not have been a winner at all. Want to get another heal off here. Oh dear, might die, might die, might die, might die. Got big bosses, big knobs, just everything going full on at me here. I'm gonna chain axe him down. Punch his jaw straight off. Popped up at the wrong time there, mucker. Yeah, my issues come from sort of charging in a bit too headlong, I think. I think the idea is you are supposed to hang back a little bit. You're not supposed to be able to just charge through them all. Granted, if you had unlimited las cannon ammo, you definitely could. Most things are a one-shot with this, but they rightly should be. And don't get me wrong, the plasma pistol is actually a bit better than I gave it credit for, but it's not as good as it should be. Like, for me, the singular shot should overheat it to the same point and mean you can only fire once every few seconds. And that should just bore a hole straight through and not be a delayed explosion. Like, I'm fine with the amount of damage the explosion does. I think it's reasonable that it shouldn't kill everything, but it should kill those. And I just think they've implemented it in a strange way, because if you know what you're on about, or you know, I'm not saying I know everything, but I think I've, you know, absorbed enough of the different media sources for 40k that I have a good enough understanding of what a plasma pistol should do. And I just think they've completely missed it. And the thing I'm most bothered about is that GW signed it off, because they've written countless books that make well, obviously they've not written them personally, but they've had a say in the way that those books are written. And you know, it's an AP -3 weapon in tabletop, so that means the orcs shouldn't even get a save. Oh, we don't want a Thunderhammer. You know, it should, you know, aside from, you know, I imagine some orcs have a feel no pain benefit, and I'm totally behind that being the case, because as we've said, they don't have any vital organs, or very few vital organs, so even if it bores a great big hole through them, I'm fine with some of them being able to take that on the chin and not die, but I just think that it should have that effect. So if you want to know any more on those sorts of topics, drop me a question in the comments. I will get back to them in the future videos. And I am thinking of doing sort of lore, maybe primarily audio really, podcast, and we can talk about those sorts of things as well. I'm really keen on that. So we might look at that a little bit later down the line, but this is sort of a trial run for that sort of thing, because I am one to ramble, as you might have gathered, especially when I'm otherwise mentally preoccupied, such as right now on this game. Bad trade, lost armor for no health. Oh, will he recover in time? Nope. And again, my gripe is Thunder Hammers get used with Storm Shields. If you're a fan of tabletop Smash Captains, you will know they take a Storm Shield. Or at least, as far as I'm aware, they have to. Again, I'm not a Marine player, so I happen to know the person that asked one of those questions is, and they have the Codex, so can tell me the situation of a Smash Captain if they wish to. But otherwise, if you are a Marine player or have a knowledge of the Codex, then by all means let me know your thoughts on the matter as to whether a Smash Captain does not need to take a Storm Shield, if I'm mistaken. But yeah, just, I mean, I don't know, I think if you've got a particularly designed Thunder Hammer that isn't going to write you off, then fair enough. But the point of the Storm Shield isn't just to protect them generally in the fight, it's to protect them from the force of their own Thunder Hammer, because it would absolutely write you off. It's like a frag grenade going off inside your body, the force is involved. It's like, the concussion alone would knock you into next week. What are you doing, Andros? Are you not joining us, Inquisitor? Well, gave his life for the Emperor. Onward.
I thought the Spire to be a ground-to-space transporter.
It is, with a few modifications.
How did you get in there? You were
It
outside,
also
you
makes
cheeky.
An ideal firing tower. The energy pulse should not damage the Spire.
You do not sound confident.
Improvisation and experimentation go hand in hand.
But that would be heresy, Inquisitor.
Squiggage, don't want to get on that. Squig's giving me a right load of jip. What? Dead.
Life is
The animations though. It just hit it in the head so hard that it didn't even need the chain teeth. They would help, but it wouldn't even need them. Like, a Space Marine can knock the head off of just a standard orb, like, no doubt. Like, these are not a threat. And I get I'm playing it on hard, like, I'm not moaning about the difficulty, I just feel like it could have been implemented differently. Like making my ammo scarce and me have to get into the melees and not making the animations so sucky, really. Now I don't want to bang on the game because I'm actually really enjoying it, so I don't want you to get the feeling that I'm playing this like without enjoying it, because I wouldn't do that. I'm doing this for me as much as anything else. I love doing this, so hopefully that is clear for you, and you know, you don't feel like I'm forced to do this against my will. But you know, I'm not a games designer, so I don't know if those things are achievable. But you know, you look at the sort of stuff that came out at the time of this, like say Arkham Knight and things like that. Those systems would be preferable. And again, like in that sort of game, I'm pretty sure either the AI is coded that it shouldn't attack you while you're locked in the animation, or you get a damage resist. Just a little bit, just so that you can't get absolutely mullered. Because they're the times it feels unfair, and it's kind of like, I don't mind them being able to deal tons of damage as long as when I get hit, I feel like I should have got hit. And there have been plenty of times when I deserved it, even in this episode, so fair enough. Watch for squigs, brothers.
Inquisitor! Watch for squigs!
Nah, that's it, we've had enough. I'm not having it. Oh, I missed him. Fall back, brothers. Fall back. I've got the chainsaw noise there without actually having the attack going, which is odd. I will say, I feel like the amount of damage we do is completely fair for hard mode. Like, I'm not bothered about the sort of the damage we do. It's more the mechanical standpoint I'm getting at, and I'm gonna stop banging on about that now. But I did just want you to know that I'm not ripping on the game as such. I just think they've left it a little short, and they could have made this the best 40k game that was around at the time. And you know, I feel like if they had implemented changes like that, not necessarily exactly what I've said, but I feel like it might even still be the best Warhammer 40k game if that had happened. Because this sort of setting is like exactly what you want. You want to be able to see the Space Marine going absolutely ham, and you know, things like Deathwing, whilst you know visually they're all right, I just think like the first-person perspective in that, it's, you know, it's supposed to look cramped. You're in a Hulk. It's, you know, makes sense that they've gone with that aesthetic, but it didn't even warrant buying, in my opinion. So you know, sorry if you haven't. I'm slating it, but I didn't even bother with it because I just didn't think it looked worth anything at all. That's the one with the Dark Angels. I'm sure it's called Deathwing. Oh no, is it? Because it's not Space Hulk. That's the sort of Gene Stealer sort of tabletop one in it, which they've rehashed as well. And again, just feels a bit lacking, so I didn't bother with it. Sorry if that's an unpopular opinion and you disagree. I'm going to check over here. Sorry if it wastes any time. Oh, this is the way we're going, is it? Alright then. I mean, they've got stones on them, these little Gretchens, because I mean, there was never any hope they were going to get up to us, was there? But yeah, plasma pistol shouldn't be able to shoot that much that quickly. Maybe a plasma gun or a cannon. It was set to low, but you know, that shot is about what a plasma pistol should be doing. Maybe a little bigger on overcharge, but it shouldn't be able to fire this quickly. Also, I was thinking it'd be really nice if they gave, and I don't know if they do. So if they do, and you know, I've just not played up to that point yet, then fair enough. But it'd be nice if they gave you a Stormbolter pistol option, which was, say, a 30 bullet clip, you know, twin barrels, and that was the best bolter you were getting other than the Stalker bolter. Because again, as I say, I think they could have just done away with the regular bolter altogether. I don't think it's needed in the game.
Just a few defenses.
What comprises a few, Inquisitor?
Servo turrets, mostly.
Set to eliminate orcs?
Set to eliminate anything with the misfortune to move within their range.
Well, let's tread lightly then, haven't we? Lucky I've still got the las cannon.
Sentry guns ahead.
Yeah, I can hear them. Target me already, the buggers. Oh, this does a good job on them though, doesn't it? Happy with that. don't know why you'd want the Vengeance launcher here. I want to keep the chainswords. I like power weapons, but I prefer the swords to axes, particularly that double-headed axe. And I don't like the animations for it, if I'm honest. I like the ones for the chainsword. I think they're fitting. Shouldn't be able to cut through an orc straight up on with a chainsword. It'd get through eventually, but I'm fine with it not cutting through in one.
Missile launcher.
Not for long, brother.
No way to move quickly with these guns everywhere. We need to shut
But I think we've done quick enough.
I can do that from the central security room.
I mean,
And that is where we are.
if you picked up your feet, Sergeant, I'd understand your point there, but
In effect.
you first, Sergeant. Oh, as if that didn't work. It's not active yet, so it didn't work. Oh, well, that's the last of my lies. You're telling me it's invincible because it wasn't online? Garbage.
We are through, brothers.
Standard ammo, that's another 5 las cannon shots, that works for me.
Authorization required to implement security procedures.
Now, I believe we're supposed to be able to sort of manipulate this for our own ends. No, it didn't deal that much damage to it. Stay with the last cannon. Yeah, the last cannon's grown on me actually. When I did the sort of like little bit of a playthrough that I did, because I just wanted to play this personally, I didn't really rate the last cannon, but actually I think I was just using it badly. Well, that one survived. Oh, that was my fault, definitely.
Ultramarines. The logic engine thinks we are escaped Xenos specimens.
I can see why it thinks you are,
Getting there. Shut it down.
with your freaky head. But we've got no health regen off these things because we can't finish them, so... As far as it goes, I think this would be a pretty good game to remaster. Because the groundwork's already done. And I just think if you sharpened up a few things, it'd sell again. Like, if those changes that I've mentioned were in there, not necessarily exactly what I've mentioned, I'm not saying I've got all the answers, but if that sort of thing was added or implemented, I would buy it again.
The exit will open shortly, Captain. However, I'm afraid the servo turrets beyond this room remain primed.
Well, I mean, I was expecting that anyway, Inquisitor, so don't worry. It's not a big deal to me. Grenades aren't that useful to us just now, but we'll take them.
What is kept in these containers?
Specimens needed for my research.
Specimens, cages, operating theaters. This place reeks of
Glad I turned round now.
That is the business of the Inquisition.
You forget your place, Inquisitor.
Love that saying. Or sentiment. Can't remember which one it's in now. It's in one of the Grey Knight sort of short audio dramas. where they've like proper gone for it and like edited it with effects and everything. And yeah, the Grey Knights are, I think they're wanting to put down a demon. I don't think it's the one where they put down Mortarion, as much as that pains me.
Space Marine recognized.
Oh, Kraken Bolter.
Marine chapter.
Kraken Bolter. This modifier bolter fires adamantine cored Kraken ammunition. It does damage to enemy armor and can pierce cover. This weapon permanently replaces the standard bolter. And I did play past this point previously. I saw little to no difference, so I will use it, but I don't think it's going to make much difference.
Firing core is still active. Excellent.
If this is the firing core, Inquisitor, does it discharge through the whole facility?
No, not precisely. The core actually raises to the rooftop of the facility. That is where the rest of the firing array is located.
Well, let's crack on then, eh? I wouldn't normally say this about a member of the Ordos, but it wouldn't bother me awfully if he cops it at some point during the story. I don't know that to be the case. The story that I am aware of, he is alive. And I feel like the way the writing is, he probably survives, but I'm always one for a dark twist, so I'd be more than happy if all three of these copped it at the end, to be honest. But maybe that's just because they're Ultramarines, and I am
Sworn to the sons of Mortarion.
Whoa, hoo, hoo. We don't want any more of that. I like the new visual effects from this gun though. I think that's pretty snappy. And it can fire through cover at the enemies of mankind. So what, can I just... Oh right, well it just seems cheating firing it through the cover though. I'm not going to do that as much as I can. Granted, it is doing more damage to these, to be fair, so maybe I just didn't use it enough. Can afford to trade a bit of armor with him. Didn't really want to trade health though. Well, that was a wild miss. That one wasn't though. Oh dear. The machine spirit of my armor is very displeased with that. Now I've made a few references to machine spirits. I'm not going to cover it in this video. Obviously there's tons of information out there, but if you wanted to ask a question about that, it's a relatively complex subject, so yeah, we could certainly discuss it. At the expense of me missing achievements for having died. But that's fine, I'm willing to make that sacrifice. One-legged, no-armed orc. Well, he's met an ill fate, hasn't he?
Detected.
I am no Xenos.
Whoa, all the missiles, should have rolled across instead of back, but I was scared of that one shooting me then. Should have been behind the other corner there. It's only here anyway. Shouldn't have got distracted by the ammo and should have got on with it straight away. Let them activate though. I'm not gonna shot off on me, you damned machine. Begs the question though, Inquisitor, why have you got about 15 Astartes weapons just knocking around in your facility? You haven't been keeping any other resources that were otherwise destined to end up in our hands, have you? Taking any chances with him. I'm going to assume we come back the other way anyway. I'm not going to go searching.
There. The command room is beyond those doors.
Homing missiles? No. Stop blowing me forwards. Is that one not online? I haven't used Fury mode or the aim mode for a long time, so I'll crack it on now. I'll just use it for the health. Supreme Fury. Why are you keeping all the ultramarine swords and axes in your vault as well, man? We could have used that on the front line earlier.
All the security measures will be down shortly.
You're right, Sniden.
I'm afraid they were the only thing keeping the orcs outside, however.
I think I find I was the
will
only
be
thing
able to
keeping the
fire
orcs
the
outside.
weapon.
Indeed.
We had better do so quickly.
And you've got a melter and a vengeance launcher on the wall as well. What have you been up to, you
Security
sketchy little
systems
inquisitor?
Disabled.
Authorization recognized. Releasing safeguard.
Please proceed to the generator room.
You have to ask me twice, Inquisitor. Well, the orcs have located us. I have your back, brother. Don't walk in front of the bolt, Leandros.
Place the canister into its cradle inside the power core, Captain.
Do we risk exposure again?
Only if you drop the canister.
Don't drop the soap.
Very good, Captain. Your time carrying my power source is finally at an end.
Your power source, Inquisitor. Now,
Stand clear.
I'm not overtly opposed to radicalization of the Ordos, Inquisitor. However, that struck me as particularly radical and close to the precipice.
What do you need me to do, Inquisitor?
You'll need to manually restart the array alignment. Forcibly, if you must.
Where?
In the firing chamber. Board the lift, Ultramarines.
Which lift would that be, Inquisitor? I'm going to assume it's the door with the green button. Victory. Yeah, I can't see my own knee guards, but I like his look going on.
Captain, you must hurry. The downed orcs have cut the main conduits to the
Dandros
firing
stayed with
tower.
him.
You must reconnect the conduits, Captain, or we're facing an overload that will rip this planet apart.
Understood.
Well, I mean, it'll destroy the orcs, I suppose. But still, not acceptable parameters.
Clear it out. No mercy.
Strange way to operate a mechanism.
Firing
Inquisitor. The conduits are reconnected.
Now, proceed to the main control panel.
So,
Weapons authorization confirmed.
I maybe did this on autopilot, but I don't remember doing this now, so I'm not sure if this is now blind.
Firing sequence in progress. Firing now. Alarm.
Well, that certainly hurt my eyes.
Look at the spire.
Look at the
Been
orcs.
looking for you, Space Marine. You've got something of mine.
You'll never see it again. Yeah, must have. So yeah, I haven't. This is blind now.
Why didn't it work?
Damn that Drogon! Never trust the Inquisition!
Stand fast, Ultramarine.
That is heresy, brother.
Handle a few orcs. Space Marine! Was that supposed to hurt?
Oh, Inquisitor.
How is this possible?
Because the war.
New friends now, Space Marine!
Oh dear. Does that lift go any quicker at all, or is it, you know, just the one speed of it interminably slow?
Get back! How heroic. Drogon!
Knew he double crossed us.
I have served you well, Lord Nemeroth.
Nemeroth sounds a bit Thousand Sunsy, and that'd explain the psychic powers.
I see. My servant did all that I hoped and more. But he would never have succeeded without you, Captain Titus. Thanks to these brave space marines, we have broken through to this reality. The blessed gateway.
But Psychers and Corn Demons makes no sense. Corn Demons hate Psychers. Again, just another thing that they've obviously not read any of the lore about.
Titus of the Ultramarines, and that of the war, which impressed my servant to no end. Ah, you think the Inquisitor a traitor, but Drogon has been dead since before you first met. You have been used by my puppet of flesh and bone. Ah!
Orc to the rescue.
I ain't so easy to kill.
Well, he's done us a solid there
Protect us. We need
by
you.
being the most aggressive looking member of the current location. And I just want to test to see if these bullets can actually do anything to these demons, because in theory they shouldn't. So it took quite a few bullets to kill him. Let's see how the melee does. Yeah, a lot quicker. That is how it should be. Bolts and bullets don't tend to do much to demons, but melee weapons do. Particularly psychically charged weapons, but yeah, completely disagree with Khorne demons siding with a Psyker. That is categorically the opposite of what they do. They destroy Psykers. Now I will say, Khorne is not directly opposed to Tzeentch. Khorne is directly opposed to Slaanesh. However, Khorne isn't really cool with any of the other Chaos Gods by any means, and Psykers are definitely not a fan. You know, the collar of Khorne, for example, a relic that may be bestowed upon
I don't think so, Leandros. The man's urgency, his fear.
Upon a Chaos
I believe
Marine
that was the real Drogon.
would protect them from Psykers, for example.
And it found him, but not at the Orcs' hands. Somehow the agents of Chaos were already here.
The agents of Chaos are already always there. It's what they do.
Keep moving!
Keep moving where? We've got to go through them. And those Hellblades they use in would cut through a Space Marine just like an Orc. Like they'd cut through anything though. So we will. Now we'll keep what we've got. I'm not feeling the melee, to be honest. Is that yeah? All right, okay. As much as they're tiring each other out, I can't afford to leave them. Now, in my opinion, it'd have been just as easy and less of just a palette swap to have made pink horrors or blue horrors. And that would have added a mechanic of, like, you know, you kill them and then they separate, and then you've got to kill them again, and then they separate, and then you've got to kill them again, and then they separate, and then they die. And I just think that would have been a little more easy to swallow. Now, Nemeros could have quite easily been a World Eater name, or an Iron Hands name, Iron Warrior's name, or it doesn't sound like a World Eater name in my opinion. And I mean, whilst it definitely could be, he wasn't a World Eater.
To the exit!
They have no
Keep
Psykers,
moving!
so he was not a World Eater. He obviously wasn't a disciple of Nurgle, because whilst there are a few in the Black Legion and other warbands like Fabius Bile's warband, they they are quite obviously still Death Guard. So he wasn't 14th. So 14th Legion, that is. I mean, it could have been Alpha Legion, but again, they don't generally end up in the Black Legion in the lore. There probably are a few, but Alpha Legion again, they're that secretive. It's impossible to say what they have or haven't done. But it didn't seem Alpha Legion-y, because he'd have been firstly gone by the name Alpharius presumably, and secondly, Nemiros doesn't sound like the nicknames that they give each other, and he certainly wouldn't have give out his nickname like that if it was Alpha Legion, or I don't believe he would have anyway. So that only really leaves like Sons of Horus, and I don't think he was one of Fulgrim's pink whelps either, looking at him. So I think he was either Sons of Horus or Thousand Sons. And for me, the fact that he's using magic, or well, sorcery, psychopower, is a clear reason why it should not have been Corn Demons that are getting involved. It should have been anything but. I'd have let him have Demonettes. I'd have let him have Blue Horrors. I'd have let him. I was going to say I'd have been alright with a mix, but I wouldn't have. So, yeah, it just feels like it should have been Blue Horrors to me. And or Pink Horrors.
But why?
Alone, there was no way the demon could get the power source past 1 million orcs. It needed help.
And we obliged.
Wasn't really a demon though, was he? He was
deceived.
Chaos Marine.
I am responsible.
And he might have been a sort of... I suppose he could have been a word bearer. Could have been a word bearer, very much so. I neglected them. And he could have been some sort of Galvorbaki type thing. Ooh, Iron Halo. Now, that isn't what I understood an Iron Halo to look like, but maybe that is what they are. They are so rare that only Ultramarines captains and company champions are authorized to use them. This ancient artifact generates a personal energy shield that greatly reinforces the resiliency of Space Marine power armor. Well, it has nothing to do with the power armor. It is a personal void shield, essentially. And we've sort of already benefited from that sort of effect up to now, but presumably our shield is a bit better, but then presumably also the enemies are stronger. So it's kind of like a net nothing. Still going to get rid of those Rocketeers though. I mean, they still seem to do about as much damage to my shields as otherwise. Oh, now there's Chaos Marines. Very nice. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, needed that Iron Halo now. Right, okay. I need to be careful. Ah, I hadn't realised we were on part 4. So we've had a bit longer of an episode than I intended, but we will carry on from here next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time in the Underhive.